to the channel. Doing a quick video today with the UForce1000 here. There's been some questions from a few people online and multiple times. I figured I'd go ahead and clear some stuff up having to do with the onboard diagnostics, also known as the OBD2 system that these use. A few people have asked in the different forums and whatnot whether or not there is a diagnostic port in these units, and if so, can you plug in a regular handheld scanner and clear codes if you have any fault codes with them? The answer to those questions is yes and yes. These do have an OBD2 plug. It's located underneath the middle section of the seat, so if you pull up the passenger side seat, it's underneath there. And yes, a normal handheld OBD2 scanner will work with these. So we're going to kind of take a look at it real quick, show you what I use and also the program that I'm using. I'm using the TorquePRO system. It is an app available in the App Store. I'm sure it's available in, on both formats, Android, Apple, whatnot. I've got the Android system going and I'm using a Bluetooth OBD2 plug that is specific for Android, but I'm sure they make them for Apple. I'm sure they probably make them that will do either or. Mine is going to be specific to Android. I'll throw a link for it in the comments down below or in the description down below, and so you can take a look at one of those. This is actually the second one I've owned. When I started to try and do this video, I was looking for the one that I had before, and damned if I can find it. So I went ahead and ordered another one. They're pretty cheap. The actual app that you're going to use, there's a few of them out there. Like I said, I use TorquePRO. There is a Torque Lite, which is, I believe, a free system. Probably has some ads and whatnot in it, but I don't know. I've never used it, and I'm not sure what all you can do with the Lite version. The Pro version, I signed up for that like probably 8 or 9 years ago, and it still works today for the one-time fee. I don't remember what it was I paid, and I'm not sure what it is now. So you'll have to check that out yourself in the App Store or the Google, whatever I don't know. Check it out for yourself and whatnot. I do recommend the program. It is kind of helpful. As far as what you can do with it, I'm going to kind of go over that, but as far as clearing codes is concerned, I'm not going to get into that with this because my unit works just fine, doesn't have any check engine lights. However, I will say that on an F-150 that I had back in the day, it did read codes, gives you a description of what that code means, as well as it will clear the code once you fix the problem. Don't go through and just start clearing codes without fixing the problem. That's not solving your issue. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and hop in the unit here, and I'll kind of show you the setup on it and how it works and go from there. All right, first things first, what we're going to do is go ahead and get in the unit. You're going to lift up the passenger side seat here. We'll set that aside. That there's your computer. This is your OBD2 plug. It's got a little cover on it. Just lift that up, pull it aside, and it exposes it. What we're going to be using today to look at this is this module right here. It just plugs right in. Nothing fancy about it. We'll go ahead and plug that in. You'll notice when you plug it in, there's a light that comes on. So it does have power to that port at all times. One nice thing about this unit is if you want to use it while you're actually driving the unit, you can. Let me get this seat back on with one hand. And it is slim enough that you can put the seat back on and leave it plugged in while you're driving. One note on that is that if you are leaving it plugged in, since obviously there's light on it, it is powered up, there is going to be a current draw on the system. So I wouldn't necessarily leave it plugged in all the time. Now, that being said, as far as our setup is concerned, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the ignition on and pair it up. This is my old phone. I haven't set anything up on it yet, so just kind of do the basics. Ignition has to be on to power up the unit fully, so keep that in mind. we're going to go into our settings, connections, Bluetooth, and let it scan for it. Right down at the bottom you see OBD2. Click on that. Wait for it to pair. It's going to ask for the pin number. I want to say on this it was 1234. Alright, we're now paired up. Exit back out of that. Open up the TorquePRO app. And it should all be connected. So, I always like to go ahead and turn the ignition off fully for a second. Turn it back on. Start it up. Alright, so one of the nice things that this system has, is that you can do real-time information. So you can actually look by clicking on that, and it'll pull up gauges for you. So you can actually have your tachometer there, coolant temperature sensor, throttle position, your vacuum, accelerometer, all that stuff. And you can actually go into your settings and change what's actually on the display. But you can see just by me revving the engine here that it is a real-time deal and will change. So that's one kind of nice thing that this system does have. As far as fault codes, like I said, my unit here doesn't have any faults to it, but you can click on that, hit scan, and it'll go through and look for fault codes. I will tell you, when I had this hooked up in my F-150 back in the day, it was a heck of a lot faster when there actually was a fault code for it to pick up on. But when it's just sitting there searching for something that isn't there, not surprising, it can take it a little bit. It says that there's 0 faults. So there's some other stuff that you can do in here. There's a map system where you can do different recordings and everything. Testing, you can do different testing. Checking the status of the actual OBD2 connector. There's all sorts of stuff that this system will do. For minimal price, it's definitely worth checking out. So there you have it. As you can see, it does communicate with the OBD2 system just fine. One of the handheld scanners will work just the same. It's just, I don't know, it's easier for me to do this stuff with my phone. So that's the way I went with it. If you don't want to invest in a scanner, you don't want to invest in the Bluetooth module, which is actually pretty cheap, and if you go with the light version of the software, then it's a pretty affordable situation there. But if you don't want to put the money into it and you just want to have your unit scanned, if you have a trouble code, throw it on a trailer, take it down to your local O'Reilly's or AutoZone or whatever, and they should be able to plug into it and read it just fine. It works. Obviously, the fact that it was reading the information in the vehicle tells you that it's a compatible system and it'll work to clear codes and whatnot. So definitely check that out. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. This is actually the second time I have recorded this, because in the middle of editing the first time I shot it and waiting for the video to upload and everything, I ended up getting a notification that Redneck Garage is doing something with the diagnostic systems too. So I just wanted to make this and clarify that this is not the same situation as what he's working with. Apparently on the Z-Force 800s and probably the 500s and such, they don't have the OBD2 port to be able to get any real-time information off of the different sensors. And I believe he's also working more with looking for performance tunes on the ECU. This system is not going to do that. That's not what it was designed for. I'm just trying to answer some questions that I've seen in the past on where the plug is located and can a normal scanner actually read it. So that's where the plug is, and yes, a scanner will read it. Hopefully Redneck comes up with some good stuff to be able to tune his 800 and help the other guys out. I don't know if anyone's working on tunes for the 1000s. Like I said, that's not what the purpose of this video was, so I just wanted to clarify that before I send it out there so that people don't get confused as to what I'm explaining here. So, with that being said, if this has helped you out any, make sure you hit the like button down below. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do that. Got some other content on there that a lot of people might find interesting. And stick around. We've got some other projects coming up here for the UForce. Actually, I have some LED lights down here that we're going to get put in. As you noticed, I have a cab on my UForce, and one of the things that's kind of annoyed me having a cab on it is that I don't have a courtesy light that turns on with the doors. So we're going to see if we can fix that with those LEDs. So like I said, hit the like, hit the subscribe, stick around. We'll get some other videos out there and catch you guys later. Thanks.